Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's been another packed week in the world of Linux, and we've got a lot to cover. From a new kernel release candidate getting ready for prime time, to a major desktop environment finally embracing Wayland in a big way, and some frankly astonishing performance gains for Intel's Arc GPUs on Linux. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's dive into the latest Linux news. Alright, first up, let's talk about the heart of our systems, the Linux kernel. Linus Torvalds announced the release of Linux 6.19 RC8 this past week. Now, for those who follow the kernel development cycle, you'll know that we usually see a stable release after the 7th release candidate. However, this time around, we're getting an extra week of testing. And no, it's not because of any scary bugs or last-minute panics. It's simply to account for the holiday downtime at the end of last year, which is a sensible move. Linus himself said it was a nice calm week, with not a lot of changes, mostly small and tidy fixes for GPU and networking drivers. He even mentioned that the biggest patch was just the removal of a duplicated driver, so we can expect the final stable release of Linux 6.19 around February 8th. And looking ahead, the merge window for what will likely be Linux 7.0 will open right after that, so exciting times ahead for the kernel. And on a related note, and this is something that's been in the back of many people's minds for a while, the Linux kernel community has finally formalized a contingency plan for what happens if Linus Torvalds is no longer at the helm. After 34 years of leading the project, it's a conversation that needed to happen. Torvalds himself has joked about the community getting grey and old. The plan itself is straightforward and only comes into play if there isn't a graceful transition. It involves a clear process for selecting a successor, ensuring the project's future is secure. It's a testament to the maturity of the Linux project that they're thinking about these things. It's not about pushing Linus out, but about ensuring the long-term health of the kernel. And let's be clear, Linus hasn't expressed any desire to step down, but having a plan, that's just good governance. Now, let's move on to the distros. We had a few interesting releases this week. First up, for all you partitioning wizards out there, GParted Live 1.8 is now available. This new version of the Debian-based live system is powered by the Linux 6.18 LTS kernel, and of course includes the latest GParted 1.8 partition editor. It also comes with a new mechanism to prevent those annoying blank screen issues on some systems, which is a welcome fix. It supports a massive range of file systems, so if you need to do any serious disk management, GParted Live is still the go-to tool. Next, for those who prefer a lightweight and user-friendly experience, Linux Lite 7.8 has been released. Based on the latest Ubuntu 24.04.3 LTS, this release continues to refine the Xfce desktop experience. A significant change in this version is the porting of many applications to GTK4, which is a big step forward for the look and feel of the distro. It comes with a solid set of up-to-date applications, including Thunderbird, LibreOffice, VLC, and GIMP. And speaking of distros, with the latest and greatest, AerynOS also dropped its January snapshot, which is packed with updates. It's running on the Linux 6.18 LTS kernel and features updated desktop environments across the board, including GNOME 49.3 and KDE Plasma 6.5.5. It's a great example of a rolling release distro that stays on the cutting edge. This week's biggest news in the desktop environment space, without a doubt, comes from the Xfce project. They've announced that they are developing a brand new Rust-based Wayland compositor called XFWL4. This is a huge deal for Xfce users who have been patiently waiting for robust Wayland support. Instead of trying to port the old XFUM4 window manager to Wayland, which they found to be the wrong approach, they're building a new compositor from the ground up. And they're using the Xfce project, a Rust-based framework for creating Wayland compositors. This is a really interesting choice, and it shows the Xfce team is serious about doing Wayland right. The project is being funded by community donations, which is fantastic to see. The new compositor is expected to be ready for the Xfce 4.22 release in 2026. So, while it's still a little way off, the future of Xfce on Wayland is looking very bright indeed. On the application front, we saw the beta release of KDE Plasma 6.6, which promises some exciting new features. And for Firefox users, version 148 is on the horizon, and it will include a new AI kill switch to give users more control over AI-related features in the browser. It's always good to see more user-centric privacy controls being added to our favorite browser. Now for the hardware and driver news, and this is where things get really interesting this week. Intel Arc GPU users on Linux, you're in for a treat. The upcoming Mesa 26.1 driver update is bringing some absolutely massive performance improvements for Intel's Alchemist GPUs. We're talking about a performance boost of up to 260% in some cases. Yes, you heard that right, 260%. This comes from a series of 18 patches submitted by an Intel engineer, which were originally intended to fix some video corruption issues. But as a side effect, they've unlocked a huge amount of performance. The example given is NBA 2K23 at 4K with max settings, which saw a 2.6x increase in frame rate. Now we need to see how this translates to other games, but it's an incredibly promising development. It just goes to show that Intel is still working hard to optimize their drivers for Linux, even for their older GPU generations. This is a huge win for Linux gaming. And for NVIDIA users, there's some good news for you as well. NVIDIA has released an official native GeForce Now app for Linux. It's still in beta, but it brings the full GeForce Now experience to Linux desktops, including high-resolution, high-refresh rate streaming. This is a great option for playing games that have anti-cheat or other compatibility issues on Linux. It's another sign that the Linux gaming ecosystem is continuing to grow and mature. In AI-related news, the most significant development this week is the new AI kill switch in Firefox 148, which we touched on earlier. It's a small but important step in giving users more control over how AI is integrated into their applications. As AI becomes more prevalent, we're going to need more of these kinds of user-centric controls. In community news, the Steam survey for January 2026 showed a slight dip in Linux market share. But before anyone panics, it's important to look at the bigger picture. Compared to January of last year, Linux usage on Steam is up by about 1.5%, which is a much more meaningful metric. The Linux gaming community is still growing, and that's what matters. And finally, a quick shout out to the GOG platform, which has been dropping hints about big things coming for Linux in 2026. A recent job advert from them seems to confirm this. It's great to see another major gaming platform investing in the Linux ecosystem. More choice is always a good thing for gamers. So there you have it, another busy week in the Linux world. From the steady progress of the kernel to the exciting developments in the desktop and gaming spaces, there's a lot to be optimistic about. What do you think about this week's news? Are you excited about the new Xfce Wayland Compositor? Are you an Intel Arc user who's looking forward to that massive performance boost? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more Linux news, reviews, and tutorials. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next video. Until next time, take care.